Greetings and beyond the new, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Dermy Wormy, and since Stellar Blade released on PC just last week, it's been in the news again, especially since after launch, Stellar Blade broke PlayStation records with its highest amount of concurrent players to date. Shortly thereafter, they managed to sell 1 million copies within 3 days, meaning that this game has sold a grand total of over 3 million copies thus far. And because of this, it's not really shocking to see people talk about a potential Stellar Blade 2, and we're even hearing rumors of a potential port for the Nintendo Switch 2.
Shut up and take my money!
And when you take a look at what audiences are saying, it's freaking amazing. When you go over to the current Steam charts right now, you can see that it's sitting at an all-time peak of 192,000 concurrent players, and over the past 24 hours, it saw 138,000 concurrent players. This is hands down a successful game, and audiences are telling it to you. When you come over here to Metacritic, you can see it's sitting at a 92% user score. When it goes to the meta scores, it's sitting at an 81, and that's mainly for PS5 right now, because when you go to all platforms, it has a higher review ratio over on the PC.
Wow! That's amazing!
But because everybody's happy and Stellar Blade is succeeding, there's always gonna be a handful of people that just have to try to rain on your parade and cry about, well, gamers being happy. Game journos! From The Gamer, it took Stellar Blade just 72 hours to sell 1 million copies on PC, and we all know why! Within a day of its launch on PC, the game's Nexus mods page had been overrun by some very not safe for work additions, so much so that it outbeat Nier Automata in the number of mods and downloads on its first day. Of course, one of the most popular mods is one of Eve with no clothes on, but it's not the only adult mod available. Mind you guys, these are the same people that actually praised the fact that there was a nude Leon Kennedy mod out there for Resident Evil 4 Remake.
I am shocked! Shocked! Well, not that shocked.
When we come over here to Games Radar, the Stellar Blade PC release finally convinced me to try it out, but after its Steam Next Fest demo, I'm going straight back to Elden Ring Night Rain. Sorry, Eve, I belong to the condemned. And the reason for him wanting to go back over to Elden Ring Night Rain is, well, right here. I'm working my way gradually through Elden Ring Night Rain with my friends at the moment, and it's indicative of the problem that I had with Stellar Blade almost immediately. While there's a component Souls-like in there, it's very clearly a game that relies on style over substance. That's clear from its opening cutscene, and while there's little need to rehash the conversation about Eve's physique here, Shift Up found many more ways to show off visually than any other department. Oh yes, it's because Eve is attractive. Guys, remember, these are the weirdos that think that Eve's body type is unrealistic, even though Eve was modeled after a real-life Korean model named Shin, and we even got to see Shift Up take photos of her for the role of Eve. But the best coping and seething actually comes from PC Gamer, where their reviewer actually gave the game a 68%, and the reason for that was Stellar Blade's opening hours are so mirrored by atrocious level design that I can only assume people are willingly playing through for the sake of seeing protagonist Eve's bum jiggle around in a skin-tight suit for a bit longer. Do I blame them? Not necessarily, but it's a mighty tough beginning to get through before things start getting good. And they do eventually, though even after 30 hours, I still couldn't shake the feeling that it was trying just a little too hard to be Nier Automata on horny steroids. Mind you, though, that this was written by Molly Taylor over at PC Gamer, who also, just a few days later, wrote this. Date Everything turns everyday household objects into gorgeous love interests, and now I can't look at my refrigerator the same way. And if you're curious about Date Everything, I do have to point out that this game stars polyamorous relationship with hangers named Hank, the ability to date a toilet named Jean-Louis Pissoua, and possibly the weirdest one, a butt plug named Benoit. So attractive Eve model is bad, but butt plugs are good. I understand that. Yeah, that really makes a whole lot of sense there. These people are nuts. Back to the PC Gamer though, Gunner Game of the Year, Stellar Blade's mods are 41% smut, ensuring gamers will never see the light of heaven. Yeah, the vast majority of you game journals don't even believe in heaven, so why the heck are you even saying this? But mind you, they would go on to say this. Now look, I have no issue with what adults do in the privacy of their own home. Then why make an article on it? If you want to turn your copy of any game into an overstimulating carnival of omnipresent erotic delight, please do so with my blessing. Again, then why make an article on it? But I'm a tad mystified. I do wonder what kind of lifestyle it is that leads a person to turn a video game main menu into hardcore pornography. Okay, Melanie. At some point, are you so inured to sexuality that you have to cram it into every available crevice to feel anything? Would you not find more fulfillment if the erotic were less ubiquitous, more rare, more precious? At least we'll always have Thomas the Tank Engine mods. Again, this is coming from the same site that just a few days ago talked about Date Everything that stars a butt plug as an actual dateable character. So maybe go talk to your own reviewer.
So many retards. And you know what's the worst thing? That they're confident retards.
And mind you, these are the same people that will also agree with the IGN France editor that back when the game was first releasing over on PlayStation came out and said that this game would actually lead to the death of women and potentially see them off themselves because of how unrealistic Eve's body type is.
The fuck?
But furthermore, the same people that are going to say all this insanity about Eve and Stellar Blade and how it's awful that all these Gooner mods are out there will at the same time praise the fact that Baldur's Gate allows you to, well, jiggle your junk, and also praise Hades for having their characters be attractive. Hades 2 is the kind of hot we need right now. And this is a key one right here because remember, Hades 2 was coming out around the same time as Stellar Blade was for PlayStation. And following Alyssa Mercante actually writing this article over on Kotaku, it led her to go on to X and say, "Mommy, sorry," tweeting out a partially nude picture of Aphrodite. After that, she would then go on a massive Twitter rant because people were putting out how she would treat Stellar Blade with disdain, but at the same time tweet garbage out like this. Shocker, this is getting piled on by bots. Aphrodite is the goddess of sexual love and beauty. Part of her character is how she looks, how stupid dummy hot she is. It's the point. And that's the difference between this and some other depictions of hot women. There's a purpose. So having practically nude Aphrodite is okay because that's a purpose, but having Eve look attractive is wrong because there's not a purpose. Make that make sense. Also, Hades doesn't animate these characters, so it's like you're encountering carved or painted versions of them because they are Greek gods. There is no excessive jiggle or a chance to oogle breathing animations. It's a static, ancient kind of hot. There is power there. Again, at the time of writing all this, you were still one of the leading editors over at Kotaku that oogled jiggle physics in Baldur's Gate 3. Also, everyone in Hades is hot. It's got everything. Twinks, bears, dommy mummies, scary daddies, bodacious babes, weird little guys, feral girls, curse see you next Tuesdays, sexy theys, brooding boys, and all this and more from an unemployed lolcow. And the reason why I'm pointing all this out is because it further exemplifies the disconnect between game journalists and gaming outlets to the everyday gamer. Heck, they even have a massive disconnect from Shift Up because as they go out there rallying against all the mods for Stellar Blade and calling them all nothing more than gooner bait, you end up having Stellar Blade's director actually come out and say, hey, he's perfectly fine with the mods for the game and has no issue with it because once the game is purchased, it belongs to the user. Well, that's a radical idea there. You know, once you actually buy said game, it actually belongs to you. I wish more people actually think that way. At the end of the day, though, Stellar Blade is a resounding success. That's why there's discussions about a Stellar Blade 2. That's why there's rumors going around of a potential Nintendo Switch 2 port. Everybody is enjoying this game. And you can come out here and cry all day and night about the fact that Eve is attractive. Gamers don't care. Gamers are enjoying it. And that's what makes these game journals even more mad, is because gamers are having a fun time and they must ruin that. But hey, that's just my take on all this. Let me know your guys' thoughts on all this down in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it out friends, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell for every time I put out a new video and go live, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.